Maryland rolls past Ohio, but Bruno Fernando's i.njury is a major concern. Xfinity Center went quiet as Maryland freshman Bruno Fernando writhed in pain on his stomach, crawling to the baseline after suffering a sprained right ankle in the second half of Thursday night's game against Ohio. Fernando has become a fan favorite during his first season in College Park, electrifying the home crowd with his infectious energy and intense personality, but as trainers ran to his side, that was nowhere to be found. Maryland won as expected over the Bobcats, 87-62, but the more pressing development late in Thursday's game was the status of Fernando. He turned his right ankle as he fought for a defensive rebound with just under 12 minutes remaining, and he didn't put any weight on his right leg as trainers helped him back to the bench. After throwing a towel over his head, Fernando limped back to the locker room under his own power, receiving an ovation from one corner of the arena. To lose Fernando for any stretch would be a major blow for Maryland, 8-3-1-1 Big Ten, which already suffered a scare earlier this season when fellow freshman Darryl Morsell injured his hamstring in a win over Jackson State. Morsell, who made his first career start Thursday, has slowly worked himself back to full strength but has had to do it through a treacherous stretch that included 6 games over 13 days. Fernando, who finished with 4 points and 6 rebounds, will have the luxury of a slower schedule over the next 3 weeks. Maryland will play just 4 games over the next 22 days, against Gardner-Webb, Catholic, Farley-Dickinson and UMBC, which should give Fernando ample time to get better before Big Ten play resumes January 2 against Penn State. But it is still a setback for Fernando, especially considering that he had been coming on strong on both ends of the floor and had enjoyed his best moment as a college player in a 92-91 overtime win over Illinois on Sunday, when he tipped in a game-tying layup with less than a second remaining in regulation to send the game to overtime. He had already dealt with an ankle injury in October, which kept him out 3 weeks and had set him back in his preparation for the season. Maryland had already dealt with a lineup wrinkle before Thursday's game. Justin Jackson was too ill to finish the team's practice on Wednesday afternoon, and there were questions about how much he would play against the Bobcats. He had started 40 of Maryland's previous 41 games dating back to last season. That string ended against Ohio, 4-4, but Jackson had enough gumption to come off the bench in the first half. He finished with 10 points, all of which came in the first half, when he had a personal 8-0 run that helped Maryland put the game out of reach. Maryland needs Jackson to be at his best to reach its full potential, but it didn't necessarily need all of his powers against the Bobcats, who simply didn't have the size to make the matchup competitive. Without Jackson, Maryland started 4 guards and senior center Michal Sikovsky, who had his way from the onset and finished with 15 points. His presence in the middle was complemented by 17 points from sophomore guard Kevin Huerter. Ohio used a 7-0 run in less than 3 minutes to pull within 53-41 with just over 13 minutes remaining, which prompted coach Mark Turgeon to take a timeout and put Jackson back into the game. Jackson immediately committed an offensive foul on a moving screen. After that, a fan in the stands screamed at the top of his lungs, "Stop turning the ball over." Maryland entered the night averaging 17 turnovers per game, and it had 19 against the Bobcats. But Jackson didn't panic after his foul. He had a wide-open three-pointer and passed it up to Morsell, who then swung the ball to redshirt junior Dion Wiley for a three-pointer to push the lead back to 17. Any optimism over that push ended quickly. Fernando was hurt a few plays later going for a defensive rebound, and the arena went quiet despite the